when candidate Trump came down the escalators, the government had a meltdown.
We are going to drain the swamp.
We'll see about that.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you.
And sadly, so many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump. And when do they break with him? You know, because at some point, you know, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult member.
It's October 2023, and the Democrats still cannot let go of the fact that Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton in 2016 and became the president of the United States. But my question is, why are the mainstream media outlets still interviewing Hillary Clinton and still asking her what should be done to fix the country? I don't believe she's running again next year unless she's a silent candidate, and at the last minute when Joe drops out, she's going to pop up as the leading candidate. Why does anyone care what Hillary Clinton has to say?
And sadly, so many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump, who has no credibility left by any measure. He's only in it for himself. He's now defending himself in civil actions and criminal actions. And when do they break with him? You know, because at some point, you know, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members, but something needs to happen.
And how do you do that? Because you said you have to defeat them by defeating their leader. Their leader
Right.
is Donald Trump. Even you have said that you expect him to be the Republican nominee. How does this change at all?
At this point, I think, sadly, he will still likely be the nominee, and we have to defeat him. And we have to defeat those who are the election deniers, as we did in 2020 and 2022. And we have to, you know, just be smarter about how we are trying to empower the right people inside the Republican
So
Party.
when you look at how to go forward for the country, as you say, is there any area of coalition building that could happen? There are pragmatic Republicans, as you say. Could there be a whole new way of trying to, you know, get legislation going and cross-party governance going by Democrats and certain Republicans forming a coalition?
Well, you saw the number of Republicans who voted along with Democrats to keep the government open. So there's clearly a common sense, sane part of the Republican caucus in the House. But I think they are intimidated. They oftentimes, you know, say and do things which they know better than to say or do. And it will require us defeating those most extreme measures and the people who promote them in order to try to get to some common ground where people can, again, work together. That's the way it used to be. I mean, we had very strong partisans in both parties in the past, and we had very bitter battles over all kinds of things, gun control and climate change and the economy and taxes. But there wasn't this little tail of extremism waving, you know, wagging the dog of the Republican Party as it is today.
So again, I have no idea why any news outlet wastes their time talking to Hillary Clinton. She's nothing more than an old, bitter, woke Democrat who still, to this day in 2023, has not gotten over the fact that she got defeated by Donald Trump. And quite frankly, she never will. But she also believes that some of the Republicans are intimidated by the MAGA GOP, so they go along with whatever they say. Well, if those intimidated Republicans wanted to go along with the Democrats, they could join the Democratic Party. But they don't, because they're tired of the trash and the garbage policy coming from the Democratic Party. That's all we see, okay? They want to spend, and not give anything to the American people. But what bothers me the most, and I'm sure it bothered you, was the formal deprogramming comment. Now, you heard her say that in the past they have had battles and they had disagreements and agreements, and of course she had to say gun control and climate change, because those are the two main talking points of the Democratic Party. They believe that taking guns away from us is going to save the world, and they believe that making everything electric, no more fossil fuels, they think that's going to save the world. Well, I'm here to tell you my belief is that's nonsense, and I'm pretty sure you agree with me too. But what do you mean by a formal deprogramming of the MAGA cult? She didn't say we should try to talk some sense into them and try to tell them that Donald Trump is no good. But you heard her. He's got zero credibility. He's fighting civil actions and criminal actions, all brought on him by the Democratic Party. That's all we've been seeing. But what Hillary Clinton forgets is when Donald Trump was president, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats spent 4 years doing nothing but trying to remove Donald Trump from office. And they were determined to get him, and it didn't work. So when Joe Biden won the election in 2020, the Republicans took over, and now they're going after Biden, which I believe I said this before. I think it's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. We all know Joe Biden is dirty. We all know his kid is dirty. Joe Biden's been dirty his entire political career. Way back in the past, he's used the N-word more on the Senate floor than you might hear on the street today. And if you don't believe me, just do some research. He's racist. He cares not about the American people. He cares about our open border right now, and he cares about the millions of migrants coming to our country right now, because he knows that these people will do anything for the Democrats because they let them into the country. When are people going to wake up and stop listening to someone like Hillary Clinton? You know, I didn't delete thousands of emails. I didn't destroy any private server I had in my house. Oh no. That was looked into, that was investigated, and it was unfounded. Of course it was unfounded because it's a Democrat and because it's Hillary Clinton. Okay? Hillary Clinton is a bitter old woman who has nothing else to do but bash the Republicans and, of course, Donald Trump, because Joe Biden can't do it. He can't speak long enough to bash anyone, so someone has to do it. So she's jumping in. But a formal deprogramming? Are you shitting me right now? Is she saying, let's take all the Donald Trump supporters and put them in a concentration camp or lock them up somewhere, and we'll brainwash them into believing that Donald Trump is the criminal they say he is? What else could that possibly mean? How are you planning to formally deprogram a person who believes in another political party or another person? That's the only way. There's no other way. You want to take MAGA, your so-called MAGA cult members, and put them somewhere and force them to believe something that you believe. And why hasn't anyone come out against that statement? All the Democrats are silent. They've said nothing about it. In my view, that hurt the Democrats by that old fool saying that to the American public. And of course, CNN ate it right up. It's absolute trash. It's disgusting that they could allow Hillary Clinton to say something that was said in Nazi Germany about the American people today who happen to support a political candidate. because that's all this is. The Democrats are against anyone who supports Donald Trump and anyone who doesn't support Joe Biden, because as you know, we have no free speech anymore. Imagine a Republican member saying what she said, that all the Biden supporters need to be formally deprogrammed. What would have happened? They would have been in the streets with protests, screaming and demanding the head of the person who made that comment. But no, the Democratic Party does no wrong, and it's okay for Hillary Clinton to say that, because after all, she's bitter and she can't get over the fact that she got beat in an election. That's what this is. This woman should be in prison for all the years of God knows what she was involved in when she was Secretary of State. Did you forget about Benghazi? I didn't forget about that, but nothing ever happened. Did you forget about when she was in the Senate? Did you forget about when she was running for president? The emails, they were never there. They were never destroyed. This is absolute trash that we're seeing today in 2023, with these Democrats are going above and beyond to put one former president in prison and to make sure that the people who support him don't support him anymore. And you should have had enough, because I have. This is not the United States of America I grew up in. This is turning into a communist regime. Cuba, North Korea, Russia, China. That's what this is turning into. And Hillary Clinton obviously is still pushing some buttons, because we all know Joe Biden can't even push a button to open an elevator door. He's not making any decisions. Is it Hillary? Is it Obama? Is it Pelosi or Schumer? Who knows? This nonsense needs to stop, because there's a presidential election next year. And if anybody believes that the Democrats won't do whatever it takes to win, then you need to just go in your basement and never come out again, because it's my opinion that you will never see a Republican take that White House as long as these filthy Democrats are still around. They are hell-bent on controlling this country with their own rules and regulations, and they could care less about what the average American person wants. Okay? Read between the lines and see what's going on. This is absolutely disgusting what's happening here. And again, I can't believe I'm seeing this in our country today. And enough is enough with the dirty, criminal Democrats who want to control everything like a dictatorship. Okay? It's nonsense. Someone needs to stop these people. And they're already doing what they can do to keep Trump off the campaign trail. But Biden is going to keep spewing his nonsense, and everybody's clapping. Everybody's clapping, and he's doing nothing. He's doing nothing but giving away money and destroying our country. And Hillary Clinton wants us all in a concentration camp. Enough is enough. And that's it. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't liked this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. You won't miss an episode. Share this video with someone. I'd appreciate that. Hope everybody's healthy and safe. Have a great night.